at the beginning of the year, a lot of you had goals, ambition, a lot of drive, a lot of motivation. When I navigate, I put backstops out there to make sure I don't get too far off course. I put those backstops in my personal life to make sure I don't get too far away from my goals and my dreams. A lot of you aren't proud of who you are. You don't like the person you created. Do what I did. Start from scratch. Create somebody that you're proud of. Stay hard.
You have to cap it. You have to learn to cap success. So what I do is, like right now, I don't like doing podcasts. There's a lot of things I don't do, have to do now to get the message out there to help people out. And what I mean by capping success, I believe everybody should live their life. So everything that someone says in life, take it with a grain of salt. Take what they give and don't be like, oh, David Goggins said this or whoever said this. No, do not take what I say and do exactly what I say. So for me, what makes me who I am, because my mission is very different than yours or anybody else's. I have to go into a situation where, okay, I'm a guy who wants to make people better. For people to get better, I have to continuously get better myself. For me to do that, I can't just say, oh, I have this resume, the resume is there forever, I'm good. I have to cap my success, because for me to help people out, I can't just say I did it once and I'm good. I have to continue to reinvent the wheel of the month and figure out more and more ways for you to pull. Because if I have a cookie cutter message, it may hit 5 people out of 25. You just failed. My message needs to be in a way where I can hit all 25 people. It needs to be broad enough to where all 25 people may not like the message, but they're getting something from it. And that is evolution. You must continue to evolve. And you don't evolve, for me, in my job, unless I cap myself somewhere and say, okay, you made this much money, get back to fucking work. It's time to get back to work. Stop hearing yourself talk. Get off the podcast. Don't be on social media too much. Cut out all the fucking noise. Get back to the fucking mental lab, because that's where the knowledge came from. So for me, I must cap myself so I can come back with better, more unique knowledge versus all that cookie cutter knowledge that's out there. That's why people buy the books I have, because it's not cookie cutter. It's real knowledge.
You know you're the right people in your foxhole when you're waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're going to bed at midnight, and you're waking up at 3 and no one says, is this smart to do? You need some time off. You need to take a break. When I start hearing that, I know what I'm doing to myself. I was behind the power curve, man. When everybody starts off in first grade, I had them negative grades. I started off in the dungeon, man. I had to dig out of the damn grave to get to first grade. So now when you're 20 years old, I gotta make time up. So while people think 24 hours is one day, for me it's 3, 4, 5 days. I gotta make up time, I'm behind. I gotta go to summer school in my mind. And they just get it. He's trying to go somewhere. You are the right person for my foxhole. I don't want to hear no about resting. I can't rest right now. I know what I'm doing to myself. Did you see how I came up? I gotta catch up now. And that's what life is about. Sometimes you are raised in a position where you are behind. We have to make that time up. I'm sorry, it may be inhumane. You may be unbalanced. It may not look right to you. It's the situation that life put me in, and I need people to say, when I don't want to get up at 3 in the morning, saying you need to get done. That's the foxhole. I don't need critiquing. I need pushing. I need pulling. I need anger. I need passion. I don't need somebody in my ear saying, man. Because then that's all a person needs is that. Support can go a lot of ways, man. It can go a lot of ways. I support you in everything you do, and I support you in everything you don't do. I don't want the support in everything you don't do. I need to support always the things that you do do.
So I get an email the other day. This young man wants to be a ranger, but he's afraid to go to ranger school. Not because how hard the training is, but because he's afraid if he fails, what people are gonna say by judging him. One thing in life, this applies to everything in life. Anytime you move from being normal to trying to be exceptional, people aren't gonna like that. Those normal people, it makes them feel like they're gonna judge you. And nowadays, it's very easy to be a coward. Why? We got Instagram. Most folks don't tell you to your face. They go online, they post about like cowards. Don't let cowards get in your head. And last thing, make sure you do you. Stay hard.
A very difficult task before I even started. And I was 297, out of shape in the straight of water. I was able to see myself at graduation as a Navy SEAL. But as time went on, I kept on getting rolled back to day one. And every day got longer and longer. So what I had to do was I had to take this big chunk and make it small. So I became the master of the one day that I was living. We have to do that now. We don't know when the end is coming to this. So we got to master that one day. It may keep on getting pushed back day after day. You master that day and want to be harder and stronger, you'll figure it out. Stay hard. I want to be Air Force pararescueman. And so I couldn't even swim. And in special operations, I didn't even know this. There's only 1% of African Americans in special operations, totality-wise, as far as Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, Green Berets. My grandfather was in the military for about 30-some years. And I was obsessed with the military growing up, just obsessed with the uniform. And I knew that was my way out. The military, but I didn't know you had to actually be intelligent. I thought it was just about push-ups and sit-ups. So to be a pararescueman, they gave you this warning packet. There's a warning order. And after I passed the ASVAB test, they gave me this packet. It was like, okay, like a training packet. Push-ups, sit-ups, flutter kicks, all these different things. The very last page talked about swimming. I figured I'm a pretty good athlete. Swimming's easy. I'm negative buoyant. So why there's not a lot of African Americans in special ops? Because over 70% of African Americans are negative buoyant, which means they sink. And it's not due to muscle mass, it's due to bone density. That's right. So when I went to the pool, I tried to float. That's the first thing you have to do is just learn to float. I sank like a lawn dart. I'm at the bottom of the pool, walking at the bottom of the pool. So this lifeguard came over and says, hey, I can help you out. I've taught thousands of people how to swim. He tries to help me out. I lawn dart to the bottom of the pool again. And when I come back up, he says, man, you're screwed. That's when he started talking to me about negative buoyancy and stuff like that, how hard it is to stay above water. So I put the same work ethic into my learning as I did in the swimming. A few months later, I was swimming. And then I go off to pararescue school. So my whole thing was the military was my way to find self-esteem. I had to start building on something. And I started building on, education. Then I had to start learning how to find mental toughness. And this is where I started finding it was in the military. The mind, as you know, is not a muscle, but it almost is. Yeah. It really is. Right. If you stop going to the gym, your muscles will atrophy. If you stop training your brain, same thing will happen. So I learned to callus over. I did 4,030 pull-ups in 17 hours to break the Guinness Book of World Records. Your hands become very calloused. Calluses protect your hands. What I learned to do is through mental hardening is callous my mind. I had a victim's mentality. I learned to callous my mind over the victim's mentality. And you have to be willing to put yourself in very difficult situations at all times to be able to do that. So my big takeaway of life is if you're constantly taking the easy way out, you're never gonna callous your mind. I was at MIT, they called a person like me to MIT to speak to some of the biggest head guys on the planet. I was on this panel, and I'll talk about it in my introduction of my book, and all these brainiacs were there, and they called me in. Like you say, I didn't go to college for this, but they're all theorists. I'm a practitioner. And so they're all sitting there, all these great, smart minds from MIT are asking these brilliant guys questions. I ain't say a word. I'm intimidated. But I know that half of what they're saying is wrong. Because what these theorists did, even though they're very smart, what these theorists did was they took a poll on normal people. And this is what you get. This is what we cannot do. So theorists love telling you what we cannot do. This is what we can do. So one person in the crowd asked me a question, why aren't you saying anything? I said, pretty much I disagree with almost everything up here on this panel because I'm living proof that everything that they're pretty much saying is not true. I was a below average person. I was a chameleon living in life who could barely get by. So I know that they were taking the normal mindset of people. They weren't talking about the 1%ers, the people who want it like there's no tomorrow. And so that's what I started realizing was we have theorists and we have practitioners. So what's in my book is from going into the dungeon. And when you're in those points where you want to quit and not quitting and seeing how the mind starts to operate in those moments of fear, anxiety, self-doubt, insecurities. And that's where you learn to fix it. You don't fix it in 72-degree weather, drinking a milkshake, watching TV. You fix it by going into the environment.
I'm not in search for a trophy. I'm not in search for love. I'm not in search for more followers on Instagram, social media. When I started this journey years ago, and I realized that I'm going to be somebody. I'm searching for a feeling of true victory for myself, and only myself. The second I shut out the whole world and realized that one thing, that I am in this world alone. I'm fighting in this race by myself. Yeah, I'm all about people, I'm all about team, but I'm really all about right now and in my life, just like you said, no one knows the real truth about me, how hard I really go. I don't care if anybody knows. I don't want anybody. I'm an introvert. I live an introverted life, and I love that about me. That right there is my fuel. Is I know that there's really no one out there lying me like me. If they are, they're good. If I know about you, I'll make sure that I view myself as the weakest person. My goal in life was to, in my mind, to be the best possible. And that's why the whole thing is, it can't hurt me. That's what it's about. It's about whatever you think you are, you have to make that dream come down. That's where the hard part is. That's the hard work. That's what people don't have to keep dying every day. You have to make those insecurities, those fears. Like when I was 300 pounds, I didn't have any drive. I'm gonna go be a Navy SEAL. What kind of stupid is that, 300 pounds? It wasn't like a drive to go be a Navy SEAL. I was an insecure, lying kid, afraid. I had to look at my insecurities and in my fear and find drive in that. We're all looking for passion. Passion's all around you. You have a whole stack of it all around you. It's your insecurities. You gotta dive deep in that. It's all in there. All the energy and fuel you need is right in yourself. It's all there. You got a lot of stuff to do to overcome. And that's where I found it. I found it right there in my own insecurities. I found drive in my own insecurities. And that's the most powerful thing in the world. When you can find drive in your own doubt, fear, insecurities, you become very unstoppable.